Hi, another episode here.
Ah!
What's up?
what was the point of that?
What's the
I don't know.
reason?
My first instinct was to act natural, so
Yes, that was
So you're-
absolutely. Hey guys! Ah!
Oh, you're
I can't wait to listen to that back.
Oh, man.
Absolutely, 100% pure natural. It's like, hey, dude, this girl come and act natural. Ah!
Exactly.
So, we had a great first episode, correct?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Very mixed answers
Dex, how's
there.
that food? Jesus Christ.
You know what? I think after this one, it's gonna be over with because I don't know how much more I can handle of the goddamn zoo.
I, like with the monkeys and the flamingo. Yeah.
I'm kicking Dex from the chat.
Okay, so we did it.
All right, EBW fans.
Let this be our official debut, fellas.
And speaking of which, we are going to go in order and kind of talk about how each of us came to EBW, starting from the longest. The guy who was in it the longest, obviously, other than Kerry, because he's
own it.
He's been here from the beginning.
If y'all want to see where I began, just go to the very beginning of the channel.
However, he won't be completely silent because, of course, we are missing a very, we're missing half of the greatest debut in EBW.
And I also had a part in the majority of the debuts anyway, so I'm going to have to jump in and tell different perspectives.
Yeah, so we're going to start with Austin Creed. The floor is yours.
Alright. Let's see, where to start? Well, let's see. I found the channel back around 2014, 2015. That's when Colin was a part of it. And I messaged Kerry on Facebook, asking him to talk, see if I can join it.
Actually, the first thing I ever got from you was you commented on the channel and you were like, hey, you live in, I'm not going to say which town, but you were like, hey, you live in this town, huh? And I just didn't respond because it was like, I'm not about to say anything to that. But then eventually, yes, he did message me.
Yeah, I eventually messaged Kerry, talked with him about it. And then I started aggravating him a lot in school about it. Started asking him why I can make my debut and all that. Been giving him character ideas.
And you know,
And one of the
it's
characters-
weird because, like, one of the things is, like, I didn't tell him where I would stay in the morning at school. Like, I guess for some reason he just decided to start roaming the halls and he just instantly found me.
Yeah.
Like, he was just
I
like, hey, where
basically
you
found him.
stay in the morning? He just walks around, he's like, hey, Kerry. And I was like, oh, hey.
Yeah, that's the beginning of our friendship. But, pretty much, I gave him a bunch of ideas. Both ideas were pretty stupid until we came up with Austin Creed.
Which was aggravating because I came up with Austin Creed and literally, okay, so we got called out on this. It was like, oh, Xavier Woods, obviously, right? But it was aggravating because before Up Up Down Down was created, like, it was the same year that he debuted as well as Up Up Down Down was created, but it was aggravating because we recorded before Up Up Down Down was even a thing, and he was called Austin Creed, and also Xavier Woods comes on, and he's, hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Austin Creed, and it was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Absolutely just aggravated me, because it was like, hey, that's Xavier Woods. So it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, I remember that person that commented on the video. It's like, his name's Austin Creed. That's Xavier Woods' name. Yeah.
Yeah, no shit, now it is. And then, just, I want to just say some of the ideas because I remember them pretty well. Believe it or not, Austin's finisher, he wanted it to be a big boot. And that is funny because obviously he was not about to be able to reach me.
Yeah,
Not with his kicks.
you know, not with my kicks.
But I came up with the
Oh.
idea for his finisher to be like, I'm on the ground, or someone's on the ground, and he kicks him on the side of the head, backs up, and then goes for a spear.
Ooh.
Ooh,
That was the
Child.
original.
yeah, that's the original. But the ideas for like the characters I came up with were pretty stupid. One of them was because I just got done watching a movie. I forgot what it was called. But it had to do with Frankenstein or some shit. And I remember it very vividly. I told Kerry about it, and he's like, "Why would you want to be called that?"
Austin was originally
was the
supposed to
name?
debut as Aaron. That was supposed to be his name. Aaron something. Aaron something.
I forgot what, Aaron Jones or something like that, I think.
Something along those lines. He was supposed to debut as a Aaron. And I was like, why would you want to do that?
But, and then I kept bugging him because, EBW was supposed to end with him and Colin's Ultimate X match, if I'm correct.
Well, it ended at EBW Last Stand, but then it was like, let's put out a few more episodes, and Ultimate X was the last match that I filmed with Colin. Almost got arrested for that. And
Yeah.
basically, Colin ended up leaving. I think that's a discussion on its own self, but basically at that point, I was obviously in need of people other than Max, which
Yeah, because
Max ain't exactly.
that's another discussion too.
There is no discussing Max. Max straight up didn't have any clue how to wrestle. He never watched wrestling a day in his life.
Sounds familiar.
What?
But
Nothing. I'm not talking about Nightmare.
But anyway.
So yeah, I kept messaging Kerry, bothering him like, when can I make my debut? When I can make my debut? And he's like, how about this? You film a promo, and I'm gonna put it on. While I'm giving my promo to Max, I'll put it on that episode of you interrupting me. And
Boom, debut.
pretty much for my debut, and that's pretty much how it started.
And I gave him a script and everything.
Which is something we should not have stopped doing.
As if it was honestly going to make a difference to begin with. Like, what difference would it make if we started making scripts?
Yeah, there wouldn't be. There's no saving Austin's mic skills.
I honestly,
not gonna lie,
I suck at memorizing lines and stuff.
Yeah, man, me too. I can't remember lines to save my life.
The look I'm
Sweet.
giving my camera, if only you were able to see it.
Me too. The look out the way I'm just staring at my.
But continuing it, after Kerry lost against Max, he said, "I'm gonna call out Max, and you just come out, say what you gotta say, hit me with a spear," and that's pretty much how my debut went.
Oh, and he bought me a bag of chips.
Yep,
And I bought him a bag of fun.
I was waiting for that one.
I was like, okay, yeah, you can officially join now. So that's the way
All
my
right.
heart is giving me chips, guys.
So that leads to phase 2 of the debuts. So I remember it like it was yesterday, September 6th, 2017, a date that I did not just look up on my phone, which is right beside me.
Are you?
It was supposed.
Wait, is that the day that the video was uploaded?
Yeah.
Well, that's not exactly the day that I asked you to join. Then
You guys talked from the very beginning.
About a
like,
month
actually-
before that happened, before that date maybe, I'm just sitting down watching WWE Battleground or something. I'm pretty sure it was Battleground. It was in the middle of Becky Lynch versus I think Alexa Bliss. Maybe that wasn't Battleground. I think it was the tables match. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Becky Lynch was involved, and then I get a message from Kerry, who I do not talk to at this time. So like every once in a while,
except for one time, I messaged you sending you the link to EBW because obviously I figured out. Oh yeah, he's a fan.
Yep. And I was like, wow. This is wow.
Something.
This sure is something. And I was like, well, I mean, it definitely. I would be proud of this if I. I would be proud of this if I were a part of this. But I'm not. So I'm glad that they can be proud of it. And then, sometime later, I get a message from Kerry over Instagram, saying, "Hey, you want to be a part of EBW?" And I'm like, I was honestly on the fence about it at first because I cannot wrestle. This is younger Johnny who couldn't wrestle, and he had no idea what he would be doing. He didn't know about a schedule. I'm very glad that I took that offer because it turned out to be much, much more beneficial than I thought it would be. And we started working around building the character. Now, before building Johnny Burns, I had two other characters built before him, one of which I will not say for a reason. The other one, that was my first character. The other one was Jacob Storm. It's kind of the same as Johnny Burns, except instead of his gimmick being fire, it's lightning. But like it didn't work because I couldn't find like gear that matched it. And I was having trouble finding gear that matched too. But it also just sounded nicer. I remember my mindset in thinking of him was all right. I kind of want him to be like the Miz. He's very cocky. He really hates like following the rules, I guess. And he always feels like he deserves more credit than he gets, even if he doesn't actually deserve it. And I was like, all right, so I need to put that and just give it a name. And for some reason, the first name that came to mind was Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat. And I was like, that's perfect. I don't know where Burns came in, but it just kind of rolled off the tongue. So I pitched it to Kerry, and he was like, "Yeah, that's cool."
Because obviously, I'm open to characters. Like I am.
Yep.
I work where I should.
You work. You work as good as you can, honestly. So the tricky part about all of this was finding me a finisher that didn't suck because I have noodle arms, I cannot flip, and I'm scared of everything. I'm scared of my shadow. So wrestling would be hard.
You hedgehog. Groundhog.
Yeah. So I had to find a finishing move that looked devastating enough, but was also simple. Somehow we thought of the Extinguisher, which was not the original name. I will not say the original name because I'm not proud of it.
Wait, I forgot what it was.
Good. So, is Austin muted?
He's probably going through something right now. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. That's fair. And what we ended up coming up with was a flatliner, which I do this a lot. I initially thought that I had just made a move. It was too simple to have to not have already existed, but I was stupid. I still am stupid, actually, and didn't know that. But it was in my head. I was like, yeah, this is a move. And every once in a while, I think of trying to change it and make it different, just get a different one entirely. But like, I like the flatliner. It's nice. It's simple. I can set it up in plenty of different ways. and it just feels like a wrestling move. It feels like, and honestly, it's probably the move that I use the least because I never know when to finish a friggin' match. But anyway, once we had all that figured out, I was called up, and we went to the EBW arena, and me and my partner's job was to interrupt the match at a specific point of Kerry versus Austin for the EBW championship, and just start attacking him, and then leave. I'm honestly ashamed of how bad my performance was, because I have it up right now and I'm not watching it, but I know exactly how it went. First off, I didn't know how to wrestle, but first off, whenever I was stomping Kerry, I wasn't slapping my thighs, so I looked like I was just stepping on nothing. I got in the ring and I threw my partner into a spear and then didn't even hit the extinguisher. I hit a freaking side effect. Then I was knocked down by Kerry, didn't get up fast enough, and it looked like the actual extinguisher was it looked ridiculous, and
it really took you a while to get up for no apparent reason.
No. Okay, the reason, and I'm gonna get into that whenever for my debut match, in me versus Austin, I didn't understand that my character was supposed to be seriously. I honestly thought that Johnny Burns was the jobber. So I didn't understand. So whenever you were hitting me, I was like, all right, so I'm getting hit by the current EBW champion. Don't get up. And again, I was stupid. It's my debut. Of who cares who's holding the belt? However, we get to me and Austin's match, and I'm selling the hell out of everything. Even me hitting Austin for the first time, I start shaking my hand as if I've broken it, because I'm so in my head that I'm not supposed to be taken seriously. I didn't know how to roll him up. I told him to spear me, and then I kicked out of the spear, and I'm like, well, god dang it. It's my first day here, and I've already ruined a finishing move for somebody. Yeah. Eventually, I did oh wait, no, I'm not even. Ooh, we forgot about literally the best part of my entire career. So Austin came in to do a spear to me, and I just stepped out of the way. And then he leans on the pole on the trampoline, goes, all right, good night, nighttime. So he falls off the trampoline. It just collapses onto the ground. I knew enough about wrestling to get out of the trampoline and continue the match. But that was funny.
We had a friend that was recording that as well, and I was standing on the side with Psycho, and we watched that happen, and our friend just he starts instantly losing it.
Could not stop laughing.
He's trying to keep his composure the best he could, but he keeps looking our direction, trying to cover his mouth because he's dying. If you listen close enough.
No one could handle it.
If you hear it close enough, you just kind of hear a small from him laughing, because it was oh my god, why, how did she, obviously the trampoline was old enough. The pole was obviously not, if he would have just, caught himself without leaning on it, would have been fine. But for some reason, he decided to go ahead and give it a hug and decided, okay, it's time to take my baby to bed and take him down and just instantly crashes.
Look, I can explain that, okay?
But yeah, so that was probably the only good thing to come out of my debut match, because my roll-up dude, I have so much fun rolling people up now. But I did not know how to roll people up then.
You had an assload of Austin on you.
Yeah, he freaking sat on me. I couldn't.
Which is funny, because it's still very much a common occurrence now.
Oh yeah. We'll get to common occurrences in another episode, Kerry.
Ah, it hurts.
All right, so, I won that match by fluke. I ran off. I don't think they were preparing for me to run off.
Me and Psycho had to quickly hurry up and hide in the corner because you were just like, screw the entrance ramp. Let me just run to the side.
Yeah, I ran away because I'm, Johnny, he's not supposed to be taken seriously, is what I thought. And, yeah.
But it's a good thing because obviously all the stories, someone just broke their back.
Hey, Kerry, you know what?
What?
I have a question.
Yes.
Do my complications at the beginning of EBW count as part of my debut? Because I feel like I've talked enough anyway.
I mean, it is what it is. I think it's your debut as well as Psycho's is like a prime example of like whenever you weren't used to the environment. It's the same thing for Dex. Dex's matches were awkward as shit.
That's not what I'm talking about with complications.
Well, what complications are you talking about?
Whenever I joined EBW, I was there for the first day, the next day, and then I couldn't make it back.
Yes.
Because every single time that we filmed
or a musical.
Yeah, every time we filmed, one of three things went wrong. One, I had to practice for a musical. Two, I was in marching band. Or three, my father wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
So
your complications made it extra hard on me, which I believe very much contributed to my burnout on ideas quickly. Because the whole story obviously was like, oh, at the pay-per-view is going to be Kerry and Austin versus Johnny and Psycho, and if they win, they get a contract. And
we had an ending plan for that and everything.
Obviously, we went big discussion for that. Y'all were slowly getting confident on camera, so I was very confident in what we were going to be able to do. But you couldn't make it, and which was like, well, that's pretty shitty. So we just made it a handicap match, in which we still went with the original plan. What happened on the camera was supposed to be the ending like that. It seemed like we had to work Psycho a little bit harder, and oh shit, sorry, I had to burp. Obviously, figure out how to work things around, but still, I think it built onto another great story of like, okay, I got you your contract, Johnny. Now you owe me.
Yep.
Which did add to the cowardness, where it was like kind of seemed like you were trying to dodge because after that match, which was me whipping your ass and then Austin whipping Psycho's ass. Which also, that goes into the discussion of Psycho, how I got into him.
Yep.
So realistically, it's crazy because Psycho is the son of a real professional wrestler.
Well, retired wrestler
now. But at the time he was wrestling, which also is also kind of funny because the company that Psycho's dad worked for, Elite Championship Wrestling, was one of the influences behind the name Elite Backyard Wrestling. Because they were kind of local. But having Psycho in, he knows the ropes somewhat. He hasn't like completely trained, but since he was a kid, he basically was getting in the ring and messing around whatever with his dad. So he understands a lot of the shit that went on, and so he knew how to work a match. He knew how to do a lot of the stuff, blah blah blah. But I guess it was the idea of having the camera on you sometimes just makes you nervous. Because, like, the same thing can be said for Austin. His matches at the beginning wasn't the best.
No.
Johnny's matches definitely wasn't that good in the beginning. Don't get mad at me.
They still aren't.
No, they're definitely a lot better. It's obvious, like...
you improved a lot.
Everyone still has issues. I still have my issues. I've come to the conclusion that I still really need to work on promos without repeating a lot of shit. Also,
I wonder who gave you that idea.
No, I actually started to legit watch a lot of the episodes, and it was like, oh shit, he was right. So I'm trying my hardest to try and figure out other ways of getting a point across without saying the usual bullshit. Austin, obviously, he's not the best at talking, but it depends on the situation, I believe.
Yeah, because like, if I'm cocky, I'm good with speaking, so.
It's not necessarily that you don't know what to say. It's more of your tone of voice that is the issue. Because you sound kind of just one-toned for a lot of things. But it's whenever, like, we allow you to actually be angry, is that angry tone where it's like, come out here and you get your ass, like, you get a lot into it.
Yeah.
Johnny, his thing is he's still scared of a lot. There's a lot of moves that I know he could do, but for some reason he just like doesn't believe in himself.
I'm gonna break my neck if I do another Hurricane Rana.
We tried. I tried to teach him how to do a Canadian destroyer and everything, guys.
My nuts were crushed.
Never mind. That's for another episode. And but Psycho, as crazy enough, I texted him last. I actually texted Johnny before I texted Psycho, and I knew his dad was a professional wrestler.
Ooh.
So I definitely knew I needed to at least have Psycho on since his dad had experience, and I thought that we would kind of be able to get a free push on training. If I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I completely thought, because I thought if we put on some shows, his dad might want to come watch. But no, that never happened. He thought we were dipshits. And so... But Psycho... We're going to have a whole episode dedicated to him. Obviously, because it's very complicated. Is that fair to say? Yeah, complicated.
What?
Huh?
Well, there's your answers. But I texted him the same thing. I basically copy and pasted the same thing I sent Johnny to him, and it was like, you want to join? And he said, sure. Which also, he does, no matter how much he doesn't appear, he does still do as much as he could for us whenever he can. You know, he provided us with our first title. Real title, let me say that. Our first real title, because we were using a yoga mat belt. Hey, we were able to work what we were able to work with. The belt didn't look too bad. But obviously... But it was based off of a toy belt, so obviously it was going to look small on us. But he provided us with our first real belt that does actually have a lot of significance and importance behind it, having people like Kamala. It's like an actual NWA belt that
yeah,
we had to...
It was actually pretty cool.
My brother, are you walking through the hurricane? What's happening?
Sound like you're driving down canal.
Shit.
What's happening, dude?
Big ass wind is gonna beat us.
I'm getting in my truck. I was at my dad's.
I'm getting in my
He's
truck.
about to be
Oh,
driving.
Glory, the wind has beef with you again.
He's gonna be driving down the street, and he's just gonna be trying to talk to us.
I heard the wind.
But anyway, I don't think there's really necessarily much we could say about Psycho without going super into another episode.
Yeah, Psycho's debut was more or less the same
also,
as my debut.
First episode. Yep, exactly. That's exactly what it was. It was a backup. Basically, the first episode he talked. Is that Kerry, we're coming after. What he said?
It's a new era in EBW, and I said, we're coming for you, Kerry.
Yes, that was in fact what was said. And the next episode, he's like, "Oh, I'm just not going to talk." So that's why during my match, there's this.
He thought he was gonna be silent.
Yeah, there was this awkwardness during our match where he's like pinning me, and all of a sudden he's just not saying nothing. So I was like, "Dude, you talked in the first episode." Like he didn't hit the trampoline or nothing to know. Like he just pins me, and it was hand up 1, 2, 3, and it was like, dude, you already talked. You may as well just speak.
And then you restarted the match for some reason. You were like, "No, that's not over yet."
No, because it wasn't like a legitimate pinfall. Like, and it was quick. I was cocky. Okay, I was champion.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was like, you're a new guy. Why you can't just beat me like that? So he kicks me, and I let him beat me. So Austin, where are we going?
Oh, I'm going back to my house.
No.
I just hear his engine, and it's like, so where are you taking? Where to, Teddy? No.
So before we get to the new guy, should we talk about Austin's older protege?
Aaron
Oh,
Havoc.
No, not that guy.
I mean,
Nightmare?
that could just be that's a whole nother episode discussion.
That's
in
another
itself.
episode on its own.
Let's talk about the guys.
Proteges in Boston.
Let's somewhat talk about who we have now, even though we still have to mention Aaron Havoc at some point. Oh, dude, I'm forgetting about someone, Austin.
Oh,
The Stone.
the Stone. Oh yes, the Stone.
Yes. Okay. Yes. That is someone else y'all never heard of a day in your life, unless you've went as far back as to watch my first match ever. So, we were going to have a small reunion with my friend that whenever I was known as Myco Psycho,
Oh boy.
I was in a federation also called, no, we changed it. It was BTW with a friend that I called The Stone. Or that was his name. He was The Stone. So at one point, I was in discussions with him because he had a trampoline. And we were going to start filming from his place because he also had like a nice little shed area that we could do entrances. But anyway, a hurricane came and picked up his trampoline and everything fell apart because he was going to college.
Yep.
So, let us move on to the last man.
The wind.
All right. The savior of EBW.
Excuse you.
All right.
So what do you remember, Dex? Because I obviously didn't message you first.
All right.
Hey,
So,
let's get something. Let's get something cleared up real quick. Nightmare. Eventually you'll hear about Aaron Havoc, Dex Desmond, or just Dex, since we're caring about that. Those were me. I brought these guys to EBW. All right, continue, Dex.
all right. So like my freshman year, like I've been watching EBW. So like I was like, oh yeah, but I never knew it was like around where I live. So like, okay, my freshman year in band, you know, me and Phil, we get close, and you know, we started talking.
Who?
I'm like, and like we just talk and we chopping it up. And so I'm like, say if y'all ever need, you know, another wrestler, you know, just let me know. And then Johnny says, well, I don't know if we're looking for nobody right now, but I'll get to you. So the next year come. And so Johnny's like, hey, you know, we're looking for a new wrestler. So I wanted to know if, you know, you want to come wrestle. And I'm like, yeah. Okay. So I start training, like learning the ropes
No,
and stuff.
hell no. You forgetting a big detail in all this.
What?
You didn't even want to wrestle.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even want to be a wrestler. I wanted to be a manager.
He wanted to. He was a Johnny Burns fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just imagine, guys. Someone was Johnny Burns' biggest fan.
Mm. Okay, so like yeah, cause like I was a big Johnny fan, cause like I always did like, you know, showboating characters like Dolph Ziggler, Leo Rush, people like that, and so like I just wanted to be a manager, just manage Johnny Burns, so like, you know, I could be the mouthpiece, I could back him up, I could talk the talk and walk the walk. But then, like, as I was starting to like train and stuff, they, you know, Kerry and Austin and Johnny, they started telling me like, "Yo, you're actually a pretty good wrestler. Why you don't, you know, try and wrestle a little bit?" I mean, I love wrestling, and so they're just like, "All right, I'll try it." Then to my debut match, we talked to. It's not my debut match, but my first time on the EBW camera. It was that triple threat match with Austin, Kerry, and Johnny. And, you know, it was just a live audience, and I was just in the crowd. The plan was for after the match, after Kerry won, I was going to, you know, attack Johnny from behind with the chair and come out as Austin's new prodigy. Did I see that right?
Yep.
Protege.
All right. Prodigy, you know, best time of my life when I got to sting the hell out of Johnny with that chair on his back.
I was high-fiving fans. I was distracted. The match was over. Shut up.
That was funny as shit.
And I just ran at him and swung it with all my heart, just like yeah. And then, you know, a couple weeks passed by. Debut match. Who was my first?
Who was
I don't
your
even
friend?
It was.
I don't even remember.
It was against. Johnny.
Oh yeah, it was against Johnny.
That's what it sounded like.
The chair shot?
Yep. You guys want to hear it again?
Not really.
Alright.
Too bad.
My first debut match against Johnny.
All right, go on.
My debut match against Johnny. Oh man, that was hot.
Green light.
Hot. Tired. Then after that, like
You were tired. Me? Me?
Yeah,
I was about
fuck?
to. I was
You were
actually.
tired.
I had to hurry up and catch myself. I was gonna say something crazy, but you tired? You sat there. You recorded entrances and sat down. Hey man,
get
I was
concussed.
sorry. I was sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm talking about my debut match, my first match against Johnny.
No, but I'm just saying in general. I'm tired. You're like, you didn't even do anything yet.
And then the funny thing about it was like nobody knew I was debuting.
Debuting.
Debu-
The key is
debuting.
silent.
Deputy.
Damn!
Deputy.
Nobody-
You guys know it'd be funny if we mocked his ignorance.
Yeah,
It would be
debuting.
funny if Donnie Burns wasn't a jobber. Anyway. And so like when I got up and I hit Johnny with a chair, people just like, "Oh my god, the cameraman's going wild."
Cameraman zooms in the battle.
Oh man. And like the whole time it was funny because like before the actual like event, like Johnny kept on telling people, whatever you do, no matter what, don't jump into the match or do. And so I was like, wait, so does he still want me to debut? But then he kept on winking at me, so I'm just like, okay, I guess.
I'm
You
just
winked
winking
at
at
him? You winked at him?
You winked at him. What the hell?
I do not.
After he's like, all right, come on. And then he gave me a wink, and then he turned around. And I was like, okay, my turn. So I just grabbed the chair and I just hit you with it. So
Oh yeah, I was looking right at you. It's whenever.
the good
Yeah.
days, the good old
That
days.
felt like okay. If there's one thing I regret about that, it's that the camera wasn't on the audience, so we didn't get to see you just being a fan and like your trans like. I mean, we knew that you were a fan. The guys that were live knew you were a fan. No one else did. Like it was, it seemed about as new as Nightmare's debut.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's a topic for holding up.
Yeah, we'll talk about it another time though.
But that's basically it for debuts, right? Like whoa, that was cool. Anyway, that's basically it. Like just just through people, we've met people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
just
I
people and
I mainly knew Johnny through his brother, and it just went from there.
Yep. The minute I was added to EBW, it started to grow, and hopefully it will continue growing.
I don't know. We're doing pretty good. So hopefully, if people still subscribes, and by the time we come back, we could
yeah,
we
we're
could be at
almost
some
at
good numbers.
1,000. So I mean,
At the time of this
almost
recording.
We're almost at 1,000 subscribers.
At the time of this recording, yes.
Yeah.
well,
Anyway, is there any other details we should add here?
not really.
I don't know how
I
to.
mean,
I like purple.
I don't
Psycho
know
stiff as shit.
Who has 6 inches and know how to speak French? Moi. Anyway,
what?
alright. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I
Wait,
think.
time out. You thought you just gonna pass by like you ain't just say what you just.
All right, guys. See you on the next one.
Au revoir.
Oh, aloha.
Ah!